And welcome everybody to the Daily Space Weather. I'm your host Dan, aka smAsho. We're starting things out looking at colorized magnetogram animation here on the SDO website, and we're looking at a sunspot that's formed in the past 24 quite rapidly, and you can see the magnetic fields. It's already actually a beta class sunspot in that it has two distinctly different polarity umbrae. And the leading umbra is indeed South Pole magnetism, making it yet another Cycle 25 sunspot. I suspect this one will be named because we see three umbrae today while I did show prep. I believe it's two North Pole umbrae in the trailing part and one South Pole umbra in the leading part. Next, we're going to show you a view here of .171 angstroms with a composite, so you can see the magnetogram and 171 angstroms at the same time. Lots of stuff to cover today, including some meteorology stuff, so let's move on. By the way, HelioViewer's down, so we're just going to skip over any HelioViewer movies and get right to data. The 10.7 centimeter radial flux still at 69 solar flux units. Back to solar minimum conditions, but we do see a sunspot, so that's a welcome thing. And again, I expect that sunspot to be named. I forget the number. Let us know in the comments if you know what number we're on. KP index is currently at 2. That's a measure of global geomagnetism, by the way, for you new viewers. And for you new viewers, thanks for tuning in. We greatly appreciate your viewership. X-ray flux is flatlined here. We don't see any solar flares, and we don't see any significant proton events happening. No surprises there. Next, we're going to look at the real-time solar wind. And there's a real-time solar wind. We see the BT-BZ are actually diverging here. So that's something to keep an eye on there, as that's the BT is the total field and the BZ is the orientation of the field. We've got a +4 in the BT and a -3 on the BZ. Phi angle is currently at 134 degrees. Solar wind density 5.18 protons per cubic centimeter. Solar wind speed 313 kilometers a second. Very low solar wind speed. And an average solar wind density. We're seeing a fairly weak magnetosphere as a result of that weak solar wind. No real surprises there. Here's 4 hours of data based on the space weather modeling framework. And since it refreshed, let's let it play through. And I'll be right back. Next, we'll show you ground geospace magnetic perturbations going a little closer to home. Here's 4 hours of data on that. And since we're living through a polar excursion, it seems kind of relevant. If you weren't aware, the South Geomagnetic Pole has left the Antarctic continent entirely, nowhere near the geographic South Pole, and it's now in the southern Indian Ocean, someplace south of Australia. And we've got two North Poles. And also another oddity is that the South Atlantic anomaly has split, and there's another one that seems to be moving toward southern Africa. So that's probably another feature of the polar excursion. We see lots of power outages still. There are the numbers for Oregon and California, a total of about 40,000 in those two states. And Louisiana is just about to get hit again. We'll show you that toward the end of the video in the meteorology section. There's the GOES magnetometer, and I think we may have been snapping back and forth between North and South Pole polarity current sheets. Not exactly sure. Here's the Gong 2 data. That'll make it a little more evident. Looking at the top view ecliptic plane field plot. And this is one of the most important pieces of data for solar forecasting. If you want to know what's going on way ahead of time, this is the way to do it. And we do see some activity on the far side of the sun here. It looks like we're still in the North Pole current sheet, shown in green. Although, we may have snapped across. There we go. I believe we are already in the South Pole current sheet. So there you have it. We don't actually see a potential field force line from the Earth right now. Normally you would see an orange line, as you see from stereo A and stereo B. So I would bet the farm that we're in the South Pole current sheet, unless that collapses once again. Here's a line of sight field plot. We don't see a lot of effect on the B field shown here in blue as a result of that sunspot forming. And again, I expect that one to get named. Now we've changed the amount of data that we show on this image because we were showing you like 3 weeks of data on this, and it's a little bit better to show you just the more recent activity since this is a daily space weather video. And so there you go. That's just 2 days worth of data, and that's the coronal magnetic field force lines, potential field force lines. And the coronal hole lines are shown in purple, closed lines are shown in pink, and open field force lines shown in black. And welcome to another edition of the Smash Lights. This one will be integrated into the daily space weather video. We'll put it on the Smash Lights playlist, as we won't be slicing the video today. Let's talk about Jaws. No, not that Jaws. By the way, if you want to follow the fish, just do a search for Beastronic Beastrons, and you'll find all kinds of images and other websites and stuff about the Beastronic Beastrons. That's Jaws, Phelps, and Jim. Anyway, that's Jaws, our goldfish. That wasn't the Jaws I was talking about. Shout out once again to our blind viewers, or should I say listeners. And we've got a lot of them. If you've never checked it out before, check out freedomscientific.com's Jaws software. It's the world's most popular screen reader, developed for computer users whose vision loss prevents them from seeing the screen content or navigating with a mouse. So if you haven't tried it out, if you're blind and you're trying to use a computer, perhaps try Jaws. Vet it for us, as I'm always interested in computer resources. Jaws software from Freedom Scientific. I never heard of it before, but I did a search for Jaws. I was expecting to find it at jaws.net, and ahoy, matey! Avast ye Spanish galleon on off your starboard bow. Bestoic says he never gets Twitch notifications, but he did today. Nice, and he made it on time. Hey, thanks! And we're glad you like the new segment. We do have a new segment, folks. It's called Scrying with Smash. It is a playlist, so perhaps check that out if you haven't. And thanks for leaving comments, Bestoic. We are streaming live to Twitch. And the chat is actually part of the streaming software, so it's not on the screen for this. Here's a clip from Scrying with Smash. Stay right there, Rona. And we're going to... I foresee SARS-CoV-2, the virus responsible for COVID-19 and the dreaded, spooky, scary coronavirus, will mysteriously vanish on November 4th. By the way, if you're not familiar with scrying, scrying is when you're like looking into a crystal ball, or if you have psychic powers to see the future, or if you're looking at an amethyst crystal, or if you're walking around with an amethyst vaginal egg, or perhaps you've got a cat that you've demonically possessed and you're viewing the world through its eyes. It's called scrying. If you've never heard of it, read all about it on Wikipedia. It includes basically all divination techniques and fortune telling, and whether you're doing it with playing cards or tarot cards, it's all considered scrying. And we're just basically just being facetious about it, although I do take things that are unknown seriously. And just because we don't understand how a certain thing works doesn't mean that it can't be explained. By the way, if you enjoy the content, please press like and subscribe on YouTube. Please press like and subscribe on YouTube. Press the notification bell, you may see. Why am I doing an accent? I'm not good at accents. I must stop. YouTube.com/smashamash will take you down a rabbit hole. And there's another one coming too, by the way. And we're also on BitChute, bitchute.com/smashamash. There's some exclusive content over there that got demonetized over here. And oh my God, it's not very scary or spooky. Here's an image of it. And it's emerging from human epithelial cells right here, which are the kind of cells that line things like your mouth, nose, throat, etc., as well as some other choice parts that I won't mention in this video. And you can see the SARS-CoV-2 virus there shown in, well, it says red, but it's really pink. And it even shows you the scale there. Yeah, there it is. There's some actual images, folks. And if you want to see that, it's on EurekAlert.com's homepage. One of the things that you may do when you're locked down is you might fall in love with your smart speaker. Do you have a smart speaker? Now, I wouldn't have a smart speaker if my life depended on it, although one day maybe my life will depend on it, because it's basically a spying device. They totally just turn on all the time when they're not supposed to be turned on. And the voice commands are ridiculous. It's as silly as the Google junkware that's on your phone that constantly turns on if somebody says, okay, goggle, if you say okay and then the name of one of the most disgusting companies in history, Google, you'll do a search. Okay, Google, smashomash.org. Okay, Google, smashomash.com. See what I did there? Anyway, please don't fall in love with your Alexa or any other smart speakers. Don't become a technosexual, because your smart speaker is not hot. Let's talk about verbiage. Have you noticed some odd
verbiage
coming out of the verbiage? Can't it be pronounced verbiage? I thought it was verbiage or verbiage. Anyway, have you noticed some odd
verbiage
coming out of the Biden campaign? Have you seen this guy? Well, he's all over the news. Apparently, Biden's been using a teleprompter to simply answer questions. Check out this exchange between him and Bret Baier.
What specifically would the former vice president have done?
Well, let's get a few things straight.
I don't think that was the right one. That's the full interview. Oh, here we are. Watch
Yes,
this.
has Joe Biden ever used a teleprompter during local interviews or to answer Q&A with supporters?
Brett, we're not going to engage. This is straight from the Trump campaign.
Well, yeah.
Nice. So anyway, Joe Biden has used teleprompters to simply answer questions. Usually politicians answer questions off the cuff when they're doing an interview. Wait till Tesla, wait till Elon Musk comes out with human integration technology, because then somebody will be able to type and Joe Biden will talk. What an empty suit. Head to WebMD for the latest article about what we've learned about treating COVID. There's an article about the latest on steroids and remdesivir and convalescent plasma and hydroxychloroquine and whether or not patients should be intubated. Hint, they shouldn't be. Oxygen therapy. Oh, never mind. I don't even want to go there, because it's a statistically irrelevant little cheap Chinese virus made in China that you can just go and your immune system will just smack it. B. Stoic says, rabbit hole, you're happily married to someone, but you wake up and your whole life is a simulation because you're put in because you're in a coma and you love your wife, but they can put you back in. Sounds like Total Recall to me. WebMD.com. Now, smashamash.com/forum has a giant section. Here's what was going on page 25. On April 19th, Air Force Academy graduates graduated despite the Rona, and some of them joined the Space Force, which is a great thing, because now that Trump's brought peace to the Earth, he's going to bring peace to the galaxy. And I heard there's even talks with the Andromeda Galaxy to bring peace to the Andromeda Galaxy. So the world is not enough. The solar system is not enough. Peace for the whole universe. What do you say? If you haven't checked out smashamash.org, it'll redirect you to smashamash.com. You can see all of our links there, by the way. Okay, Google, smashamash.com. Hey, Alexa, smashamash.com. Anyway, there's all our links, and look for constant changes and updates going on. You can link to the forum there, smashamash.com/forum. There is a cosmology forum on there, and welcome to the cosmology segment. We've integrated everything into the Daily Space Weather video today. Let's talk about the possibility that the entire universe might be a neural network. Now, I don't find this hard to believe, because there are huge similarities as we see filaments seem to be connecting things. Not all things, but there are lots of filaments out there in the universe, and it looks shockingly like a human neural network. So if you look at an electron micrograph of a neural network, and then you look at a very zoomed out image of the universe, you'll see striking similarities. And we see all kinds of similarities like this in nature. All sort of things like Lichtenberg patterns seem to be some sort of a universal sort of thing. Also, we see lots of 90-degree angles and stuff. But in any case, the possibility that the entire universe may be a neural network, I don't know what the implications of that would be, or if it would be beneficial to you in any way. But in any case, that article is from futurism.com. And check it out, China's building a floating spaceport. Sounds pretty nice. And let's talk about another rabbit hole. What about the possibility that the Earth's hydrogen cycle is a life form? Think about it. Thunderstorms are extremely similar to a human neural network. What if thunderstorms are the thoughts of the water on the planet and the water is the entity? And it would explain a lot of things, wouldn't it? What if hydrogen itself is some sort of sentient thing? I've heard people suggest that even photons are sentient, just on a very small scale. What are your thoughts on the crystalline structure of water when you impart thoughts onto it? Is the hydrogen cycle itself a life form? Have you ever considered it? In any case, perhaps it's something you should consider. Let's talk about predicting when the sky will bleed. An MIT team has begun to develop software to do stuff like forecast solar storms, time coronal mass ejections, geomagnetic storms, all that sort of stuff, figure out if satellites will be destroyed, figure out if power grids will go down. This is all a step in the right direction, so we salute MIT, as various different departments are there collecting data across the world to be ingested by a global model of the ionosphere/thermosphere system. So that should be interesting to watch. This article's on SciTech Daily by Sarah Cody from MIT. Were you aware there's dozens of, quote, failed stars, end quote, lurking in the cosmic neighborhood? Now, stars aren't understood. The evolution of stars is not understood at all. And the idea that there's a fusion dynamo inside of a star is a completely just discounted idea in cosmology. I believe that there's some sort of a proportion between the amount of condensed matter in the star and the amount of plasma outside the star. So in space, you only need about 20% ionization to be considered plasma, and that's because of the diffuse environment that is the, quote, vacuum, end quote, of space. So this is very interesting, and we've seen stars turn on and off repeatedly, and so there's some sort of a relationship between stars and their environment. I'm 99.999% convinced of it. But in any case, put it this way: if you took the sun and you put it in a vacuum, it would go out. It would shut off because it would consume. It would create an equilibrium style environment, and it would stop looking hot. And as soon as you pump gas into the vacuum, it would turn back on again as it provides electrons for all of those molecules in the gas. Today's featured object is not Cygnus X3. Today's featured object is located at smashamash.com/forum. It's also featured on a shirt. So if you head to smashamash.com/forum, click on the Cosmology Forum, and click on our article about the most, because we're talking about the most objects in cosmology. So there's a lot of mosts, and there's a lot of different factors when it comes to the most. And so the first entry is about Cygnus A, otherwise known as 3C405. Here's the jet structure of it, and you can see you're looking almost edge on to this galaxy, which is why you can see the jets coming out nearly perpendicular to the sort of core of the galaxy. And this is relevant because it's the most powerful radio source in the sky, second only to the sun, despite being estimated at over 500 million light years distance. Here's a zoom in on Sinbad. And that's what it looks like in, I'm not sure what that is. I think that's infrared. I have no idea what that is. Here it is in X-ray, and it is an X-ray source as well. And if you want to look up the transients of Cygnus A, just type in 3C405 into the Neil Gorell Swift Bat X-ray Observatory, and there you go. There are the X-ray emissions. And as you can see, similar to Crab or Gaminga, it's a very consistent X-ray source. And of course, we're talking about radio, so that's a different kind of photons there, folks, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Cygnus A, today's featured celestial object in the cosmology segment. Massive radio galaxy with insane poloidal jets. Again, head to smAsho.org. Visit our affiliate links. We've got all kinds of PPE on there. I was actually going to model my my chemical resistant gloves today, but I forgot to bring them up, so, or should I say down into the Smash bunker. I forgot to bring them into the Smash bunker. If you'd like some chemical resistant gloves, head to smashamash.com/affiliate. There's a link to them right there. They're the full forearm size PVC coated. And I have these for purposes such as taking out poison ivy and things. Like that's one of the great features. You just pull out your poison ivy and then you wash the gloves with soap and water and they are good to go. So perhaps invest in a set of those if you want some real PPE. We've also got nitrile gloves and actual masks. Elastomeric masks that'll actually protect you from things like organic vapors. We've got the correct cartridges as well as N95 caps with dust covers to go over the cartridges to extend the life of them for incredibly long periods of time. It's the Honeywell North 5500 series. I've been using these since about 1999 when I took up hardwood flooring, which is why I've had all this PPE long before any silly, ridiculous, non-scary pandemics. Please consider supporting our operations. We are on Subscribestar as well as PayPal. You can find all the links at smashamash.org. We're also on Patreon, which is the main source of funding. Thanks again to all of our patrons. Please consider becoming a patron if you haven't done so. As YouTube endeavors to pay us absolutely nothing for these videos, we've been stagnating at 1,600 subscribers for about a year. We almost went to below 1,600 just about 2 weeks ago. And we expect things to pick up as it gets colder. And here ends today's Smash Lights, but it's integrated into the daily space weather. So it doesn't really matter, does it? Anyway, there's the 1 year graph of the electron flux. Actually, there it is. We don't really see any charging hazards. We've entered back into more average range here of electron flux. As you can see, it's in a more normal range here. We may not get back into warning territory today. The forecast is for a fairly precipitous drop in the electron flux. And there's the real-time data. Close to warning levels. I think we'll go back into warning levels again today. Here's the 7-day graph, and we've seen significant electron storming, slowly simmering down. And there's once again the 3-day. Here's the total electron content forecast visualization. This shows you the entire thermosphere all the way down to the ground level. And it'll give you an idea of where your GPS errors would be occurring. And everything's looking pretty normal on this. Some nighttime electron flux happening there. Here's just the ionosphere layer, one slice of the atmosphere. And it's looking quite anomalous today. Now, we used to only show 6 hours in the daily space weather. Now we're showing a full day to give our viewers a little better idea of things like the South Atlantic anomaly, which always causes oddities in the ionosphere every time the planet spins. With every rotation comes anomalies associated with this area, not that, this area right here. Here's the latest image. That one's coming in at 11 o'clock UT. We're very late again today. Here's where the planets are and so on. There's where they'll be in a week. And we see more triangles forming. Let us know if you're scared and spooked of triangles, or if you think Frito-Lay is trying to take over the world through Doritos. The sunspot's in a triangular formation. We'll scare you later with that. And I always like to know what's going on above my head, so I use in-the-sky.org. To make myself sky charts, just put in your zip code or whatever, your city. You can even animate it if you want to see what'll happen. You can use a slider. It's fantastic. If you want to see what's going to happen or what just happened, in-the-sky.org. And it's quite late. It's after 7 o'clock when we're streaming the video. Let's check out earthquakes. The last 24 have not included anything over a 6 magnitude, I think. But we do see some deep quakes, such as this 4.8 in Indonesia. It was at 138 kilometers depth. There's a quake in Chad. That quake was baited. Chad. Chad. Do you know how to pronounce Chad? Say it out of the top of your face. Chad. Don't enunciate from deep within your bowels. Enunciate from the top of your face. Chad. Chad. Like you have sinusitis. Chad. That could have been the largest of the past 24. It's a 5.2 at East Timor. Not East Timor, just Timor-Leste. It's at 140 kilometers. Let's hope it's not a foreshock. Here's a Bolivian quake at depth. So more deep quakes striking western South America. That's a 4.5 at 249 kilometers depth. Raw, I'm going to give it to you with no trivia. Like this 4.1 straight from Bolivia. Actually, this is a 4.1 in New Zealand. It's at 200 kilometers depth. And that was an homage to the Wu-Tang Clan. Shout out to the Wu-Tang Clan. We hope you watch the daily space weather videos. Please drop me a line, Riza, if you'd like to do an interview. We're going to start doing interviews pretty soon on the channel. Another deep quake strikes Chile. So significant deep quakes going on yet, folks? Let's look at volcanoes next. While we're talking natural disasters that are impossible to manage, volcanoes are another one. Fuego. While no volcanic ash has been observed, please do not attempt to pole vault the caldera, as we need the views on YouTube, and that could be unhealthful. Sangay is also exploding. That's an uptick at Sangay. It's producing a 20,000-foot ash plume. Revenador also exploding, 15,000-foot ash plume. Sabancaya exploding, flight level 210, a 21,000-foot ash plume. Please do not fly your ultralight home-built kit helicopter over the caldera. Now we see massive weather warnings here along the Gulf Coast once again. Flash flood warnings, as Louisiana, literally New Orleans, is going to get hit again. And you can see all that flooding. Bad stuff. And here's the forecast from Tropical Tidbits. And at least that low pressure isn't that low. We'll look at it a little more in depth on water vapor maps in a minute. Note there is another one right here. In fact, let's actually change regions here. I'm going to switch to the North Atlantic view. There you've got multiple systems there. At least 4 possible. It's really 5. It's really 5 tropical systems there out in the Atlantic Ocean. All over the place. Seems like a good day for stormy seas. Holy cripes. Anyway, that's the GFS forecast from tropicaltidbits.com. There's where we anticipate things to be on September 19th. I was going to show you total precip, but it wasn't working right. Let's see if it works. And there we go. All right, it is back. Good. There's the total precip. And yeah, that's the forecast is for like 14 inches of rain there right by New Orleans. Bad stuff, folks. And I figured I'd bring up the carbon monoxide map here on windy.com and not even show you the pressure situation. But I'm going to show you the pressure situation anyway. We'll advance this as pressure is a great sort of overall weather indicator. And we try to look at things from a distance on the channel. We'll let this advance. Oh, that's the Euro forecast. Here's the GFS forecast. Here's where we expect things to be tomorrow at noon. And you can see that low is practically making landfall there on Louisiana. Not good stuff. I like to use lightningmaps.org when I hear thunder. And we just had a lightning strike over Lake Erie. Hey, Port Stanley. There's thunder rolling in. Again, lightningmaps.org. It's fantastic. Shout out to our European and African viewers. Here are your water vapor maps. Shout out to our Far Eastern and Oceanic viewers. Yes, from Oceania, which is like this area here. People like Kimberly and so on. There's your water vapor maps for that region. How about a U.S. Doppler radar? And Florida's getting pretty hammered here. Looks like some great surf conditions in the Panhandle. I would be there with a wetsuit. Actually, I guess without a wetsuit. I'd be there with board shorts. Because surfing in the Gulf must be fantastic. Here's what's going on in the cloud layer. We're going to zoom in on that system as it's Burley. Although the pressure isn't that low, folks, so that's a good thing. Looks like it's going to be lots and lots and lots of rain, and it's looking stagnant. I have a feeling there's dry air mixed in. Let's take a look at the water vapor map. And indeed, there is dry air ahead of that in the Gulf. That's a good thing, as it will slow and weaken the system. Now, I'm not going to look at water surface temperatures. Another way to help forecast where these systems will go is to look at the surface temperatures in areas like this, as that affects storm tracks as well as storm development, things like evaporation. So, in any case, that dry air is a good thing, folks, and you may see those forecasts drop a little bit, but you want to be over-prepared, not under-prepared for a disaster like that. And I'm going to actually look where I'm located for once. And for you new viewers out there who are not aware where we are, we're located in eastern Pennsylvania, right about there in the Lehigh Valley. Actually, more like here. Quite close to Jersey. And shout out to our local viewers. Looks like we're going to have variable skies today, as there's some jet stream interaction going on and other interesting stuff. And hey, Smash team, we've got more stuff yet. It's turning into a lengthy video here. And congratulations on your tilt switches. Be stoic. Let's hope you're not going to do anything unfortunate with those. And here are the jet streams of the eastern world, and check it out, they are all over the place. We have jet streams blowing east to west over the Indian Ocean, which is, by the way, backwards. Here are the jets of the western world. Shout out to the Wu-Tang Clan. It's a Wu-Tang Clan shaped jet stream. Do-ha. Shout out to the smAsho team. Or the Smash team if you preferred. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, we've got bonus features. Allow me to vanish. Don't forget to watch Scrying with Smash, our new playlist. There are only 2 episodes, a pilot and episode 1. Thanks for flying, American Smashways. Please keep your head and arms inside the Smash plane at all times. We're going to close things out with a 335 angstroms 48-hour SDO video, a little analysis of that new Sunspot. We have some more organized regions also forming there, but all eyes on this one. So the Umbrae are here. here and here. So we've got 2 South Pole Umbra and 1 North Pole Umbra. It's already beta class. That increases the chances of solar flares and coronal mass ejections a little bit. It's a pretty small group. And we'll let you see the refresh here. There's the refresh to show you that it's the latest image. And we see Umbre. So when I did the show prep, there were 3 obvious ones. Now we only see 2. And it could be shrinking and going out of sight already. So perhaps I was wrong with my initial forecast. Hey, I didn't look into a crystal ball for it. What do you want? And last but not least, here's the 335 angstroms SDO video. It's covering 48 hours. It shows the entire formation of that active region, which has been sputtering on and off. I think it showed Umbre a few days ago as well. Anyway, that's not loading very well, so we are out. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, may that solar wind be at your back and that atherosclerosis absent from your arteries. Welcome to the Neo-Renaissance. Please visit the links below the video. Consider supporting the channel. And don't forget that I failed to show... Oh, jeez. I think we still see 3 Umbre. And, yeah. There are the fields. And it's about that time. So we'll see you next time.